Please be seated. The court is now back in session. The chamber would like to give the floor to the defense counsel for Nguyen Chia to put questions to this witness. You may proceed. Sun Arun. Good afternoon, Mr. President, Your Honors, and everyone. My name is Sun Arun, the co-counsel for Nguyen Chia. Good afternoon, Mr. Sum Lat. I have only a few questions for you. Question. Mr. Witness, you joined the Tribunal Army in 1972. How old were you at the time? Answer. My real age in 1972 was 19 years old. Thank you. Question. You testified before this court that when you joined the Tribunal Army, you was a corporal and that you worked at the provincial staff office. Can you elaborate a bit further on the provincial staff office? What you exactly meant by that? Answer. It is in fact a simple translation. In the French proper word, it would mean état-major sup. That is état-major subdivision, that is the subdivision of the General Staff Office. Question. I want to be clear on this one because at the provincial level there is no provincial general staff, because at the provincial level there could only be the administrative staff. When you refer to the staff office or the general staff office, it should only refer to the military side, not the administrative side. Answer. Allow me to clarify that. During the Tribunal government period, the governor had two roles. First, the provincial governor was the military commander for that province. That was during the war period. So the governor had a dual role to control both the civilian and the military affairs. And that governor was also in charge of the military as well as the administrative role. For that reason, the General Staff Office existed at the provincial level. Question. I'd like to clarify the provincial authority and the military structure. Although the military commander worked at the provincial administrative level, the role should be a distinct one. If you are unsure on this point, then it's going to confuse everybody. President, the prosecution, you may proceed.
I'm not sure whether that was a question or whether counsel's giving evidence in court. I would suggest that he ask questions, not make statements of his understanding of structures, etc.
Counsel, allow me to briefly reply to the prosecutor's submission. We do have a role in order to impeach the witness, whether he made a truthful statement or not. President, the hearing of a statement or testimony and whether that statement is credible or not, it is discretion of the bench. It is not the role of the defense counsel during this kind of a proceeding. Of course, we will consider the outcome from this kind of proceedings, and we would make a decision on that. You should adhere to the practice that we have been using in this proceeding, which lasts for almost 2 years, and try not to ask questions or to use the kinds of questions that have been prohibited by the bench. It is not your role to try to impeach it or to intimidate a witness. You may put a question to a witness, but your question shall be precise. And if you combine a lot of points into a question, it may be confusing for a witness. There is no much distinction between the staff office or the general staff office. Counsel Sonarun. Thank you, Mr. President. I move on to another question. Question. You told this court that you engaged in a battlefield at Krawang district, and it was the most fiercest battlefield in 1973. What role did you play in the Tribunal army at the time? Answer. As I was a member of the staff office in charge of the military operation, I was there representing that office in the front battlefield. I was assigned to that battlefield, attached to a battalion. Questioned. When you were assigned to go to the Krawang battlefield, can you specify which military unit that you were attached to, and how long did you stay at that battlefield? Answer. For the military technicality and to represent that in the front battlefield, I was assigned to represent the staff office, and I was attached to the a military unit on the Lunol side and to liberate the people at the Grovang mountain, and I spent 1 week there. Question. Could you specify which military unit that you were assigned to? For instance, which regiment or which battalion? Answer. There was a unit subordinate to the general staff, to the staff office. And of course, they have their own squad and platoon and company under the direct supervision of the provincial governor. Thank you. Question. In April 1975, your unit assigned you to Spien Swai Don Kao or Swai Don Kao Bridge battlefield. Can you recall the date that you were assigned to that battlefield? That is in April 1975. Can you recall the day or the date? Answer. I can recall it, but not that clearly. I left the provincial town office for about 1 year, and I spent about I spent about 1 year at that Swai Don Kao. Question. When you went to work in Swai Don Kao, were you still a staff for the staff office, or were you part of another office or unit? Answer. I was attached to another unit, but it was still under the supervision of the staff office of the province. Question. In your PV with the OCIJ, you said you were attached to an artillery unit. Is that correct? Answer. Yes, it is. Question. You were attached to the artillery unit. What was your position in that artillery unit? Answer. I was in charge of the technical team for the preparation to fire or to load the gun. Question. Allow me to return a little bit back to the back. When you joined the Lunol army, did you receive any military training? Answer. When I joined the military army, the Lunol army, I went for a training with the infantry at the Cambodia near Phnom Penh. Question. Did you learn how to fire artillery like the one that you did at the Swai Don Kao battlefield? Answer. Before I was assigned to the artillery unit, I received a 3-month training in that field. Thank you. Question. Again, in your interview with the OCIJ, you said the Loyal soldiers in Posad received instruction from Phnom Penh to disarm through the announcement by the General Macy John in Phnom Penh, and the announcement was made on the radio. My question is the following. On what day did Macy John made the announcement for the disarm, and did you hear that announcement yourself? Answer. I cannot recall the exact date of the announcement, but I heard the announcement by myself. Question. When General Macy John made that announcement, or before that announcement, did you ever hear of his name? And when you heard the announcement, did you know the position of the General Macy John? Answer. When General Macy John made that announcement, I did not know which position he held, but the announcement that went through said he declared himself as he was a Major General in Phnom Penh, and that he issued the instructions to all the military unit, and that he represents all the national army of the regime. Thank you. Question. You responded to the prosecution this morning that one day prior to raising the white flag, the Loyal soldiers laid down their weapons and attended the dancing together with the Khmer Rouge. My question is, where did it take place, and how many Khmer Rouge soldiers actually danced with the Loyal soldiers, and did you yourself dance? Answer. I personally was at White Don Kai Battlefield, attended the dancing. Question. Do you wish to add more to your response? Answer. The event that I described was the one that I personally participated. That evening, the two opposing sides greeted one another and we danced later. Question. During the dancing, did you yourself dance? And if not, where were you? Answer. I did not dance, but my soldiers and my unit were all cheerful as we knew that both sides now consolidated and laid down the weapons. That's the event that took place in the evening. But by the morning, everything turned out to be completely different. Question. Can you tell us during the dancing night, where were you? Answer: I already stated that I was with the unit stationed at that Swai Don Keo. Question: You stated in your PV that the Khmer Rouge took control of the entire Pusat province on the 17th April 1975, and on the 24th or 25th of April that year, thought the sector committee made a request to the Pusat governor, that is General Prom Lee Hoon, to go to a meeting at the provincial hall, and there were about 500 attendees, including the soldiers, civil servants, and the students, in order to receive Omka at Tulpu Chirei. Can you tell us the period between the 17th April when you disarmed up to the 24th or 25th, when a meeting took place at the provincial town hall, where the provincial governor Prom Lee Hoon attended together with soldiers, civil servants, and students? What happened to the people or the civilians during that particular period of time? Was the provincial governor arrested, or he still performed his usual function as the governor? Answer: We were working as usual at that time. Question: Does it mean that from the 17th April 1975, when the Khmer Rouge took control, the civil servants or the workers still worked as usual? Is that what you mean? Answer: It means that for the public servants engaging in the administrative work still performed their duty. Question: You also stated that the meeting was held on the 24th or the 25th of April. What do you mean by that? Did the meeting last only for one day, or it lasts for 2 days? Answer: You should know that the word "or," I said 24th or 25th, so it means it only happened for 1 day. Question: Was the meeting held on the 24th or on the 25th? Answer: I stated it's either the 24th or on the 25th, because I was not sure exactly whether it was held on the 24th or on the 25th. Question. This is my last question to you. This morning, Mr. Witness, in your response to the lead co-lawyer for civil parties, that you saw the name of Dasot at the S21 office. How did you see it? Did you personally come to S21 to see it, or were you told of that information? Answer. When I came for my educational session, we were given a tour to Tul Slang Museum, and I saw the name of Ka Kamhut Ali's son, who was a Sector 7 committee who was killed there, and for that reason I knew that he died at S21 prison. Counsel, I now conclude my question, Mr. President, and my international counterpart will put further questions to this witness. President, thank you. Counsel Victor Coupe, you may take the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon, Your Honours. Good afternoon, Counsel. Good afternoon, Mr. Witness. I have a few questions to put to you in respect of the events surrounding the two meetings in the provincial townhouse, the town hall. Could you, before I come to that subject, tell us a little more about the invitation that was extended to former officials and soldiers to come to the provincial town building? How do you know how it was conveyed to everybody?
Response. The information regarding the invitation for the meeting was done through word of mouth. For example, the message was relayed from one person to another.
But did I understand it correctly that the time that the invitation was conveyed was after Pursat had already been evacuated?
Response. Yes, it is correct.
And did I understand also correctly that the structure and the offices of the former Lon Nol military were dismantled, were not functioning anymore?
Response. Immediately after the event, the building was still there and operation was still on there.
Are you saying that offices and other structures of the Lon Nol military were still functioning a week or days after the liberation of Pursat?
Response. Yes, it is correct.
So in the days before that meeting in Pursat province, were the Lon Nol military still walking around in their military uniforms, for instance?
Response. Immediately during this event, they did not go elsewhere other than staying at the workplace to receive orders.
So let me get this clear. Between 17 April, the day of the liberation, and the day that the first meeting was convened in the provincial townhouse, the Lon Nol military were still functioning, and they were still wearing their uniforms, and they were still active.
Response.